The following 10 insights will summarize your life. I will speak slowly, so your mind and your soul will understand. Number 1. You were born in a cold prison. It is your country, your state. Number 2. You have to pay for the prison stay. They call the prison fee taxes. Number 3. You have no say what will be done with the money, but you have to pay. Number 4. To pay the money, you have to work. The prison encourages you to buy new shiny products, so you feel better about your poor existence. Number 5. You are not allowed to exit the prison and live on your own. They will hunt you and make you pay. Number 6. Only a few prisoners have walked far enough to see the prison wall. Number 7. The prison gives you news and entertainment so that you don't discover the prison walls. Number 8. The prison does not allow strong family bonds or strong brotherhood unless you are a part of the group that is running the prison. Number 9. The prison you live in wants you weak, sick, and divided, because weak prisoners can't climb the walls. And most important, number 10, the prison is mostly run by other prisoners. It will collapse if enough prisoners will wake up. Go your way, Bratan. Reunite with others. Find the walls. Climb the walls. Every fucking day. This is the Grim Hustle. Be honorable.
Welcome to Market Makers, everybody. Your home for tomorrow's TA today. Often imitated, never replicated. Guys, if you watched Monday's transmission, you knew to be prepared for the shit show yesterday, which was Nvidia's earnings, the third largest company in the world. If Nvidia was its own stock market, it would be the 10th largest stock market in the world. Because I told you if Nvidia came out with blockbuster numbers, sure enough, the markets would retest the highs. The S&P is making a new all-time high as we're talking. What does this mean for Bitcoin? It means I think we have a bias and a high probability to go up to 55.5 in the charts. And it means it's setting up a beautiful Solana trade for us as well. We're going to cover all of that in the charts. Guys, on Monday's video, I also did in my monologue, I did an economic rant. If you enjoy that type of stuff, go back and watch it because I bring it up. George Gammon did a deep dive basically on the same thing I was ranting about on Monday, the global recession. He did a deep dive yesterday. But a couple of key bullet points I want you guys to understand. You have the second largest economy in the world, the third largest economy in the world, the fourth largest economy in the world, and the sixth largest economy in the world, all currently in recession. That is Japan, that is China, that is Germany, and the UK. And what do they all have in common? Two key things they all have in common. Historically low unemployment and stock markets near or at record all-time highs, with the exception of China. Their stock market is at the GFC lows right now. But this is a global recession. I bring this up because this is a business cycle. This is why we are late cycle in the marketplace. The US is not going to decouple from 4 of the top 7 economies already in recession, which means France is most likely next already. Their forecast for this year is less than 1% growth, which means they're going to slip into recession. This is the setup, guys. This is the difference of understanding where the market's going. Remember, anticipate, don't improvise. YouTube does not understand this. There are people like George Gammon that understand this, but the majority of YouTube does not understand cycles or business cycles or economics at all. This is why you see so many thumbnails that say things like, is it time? Is this it? It's always a question because they don't know. I'm telling you what's going to happen because as a trader, back in my first career, I was trading energy during the Y2K crisis. I started at Merrill Lynch during the GFC. I saw all of this firsthand, and these things repeat over and over again. The recession indicators telling you you're getting a recession. Something George brought up in his video, which was interesting. Not once going back to the 1970s has Germany and the UK ever been in a recession together, and the US was not in that recession also. There's so many indicators like that with 100% accuracy going back 50 years. You guys need to understand what's on the table. Here's another good one for you. Not once has the Fed ever raised rates into an inverted yield curve and we did not get a recession. So every single time the Fed raises rates and the yield curve's inverted, you get a recession. 100% track record, just like the 3-month 10-year yield, just like the leading economic indicators. But until then, guys, this is a trader's market. And I'm talking equities, I'm talking cryptos, because this is what you want as a trader is volatility. Investing will come later, but this is a trader's market. Guys, going into the print, I was short the NASDAQ. I was up 300 plus bars. Posted that trade on our Discord. I was short the S&P up 100 plus bars. I messaged everybody, said, hey, protect your profits as you see fit. And lo and behold, we're right back at levels where we can start looking for trades again. This is why it's a lot of fun to understand how markets work. Guys, if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. As you know, we are shadow banned. And without further ado, Lee, let's start the transmission. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, this transmission is brought to you by our two fantastic sponsors, SimpleFX and BingX. If you want to trade these crazy markets, I ask that you check out our sponsors. Both of them will pay for your first month in our Discord. So you can join our Discord for free, get all of our indicators for free, our live streams, our TA, our trading ideas. I think you guys would love it. It's a fantastic freedom-seeking group of individuals. It's a lot of fun to be in there, guys. I'm there basically every day. I try to take the weekends off, but I always end up talking in there. So check them out, and you get exclusive bonuses with our links as well. Let's go ahead and jump into the S&P. Does this change anything in our fractal pattern? Like, in other words, are we not going to get this retracement? No, I think we're still getting the retracement, guys. Remember, most of the market, people don't want to tell you this, but it's psychology. It's not TA, and it certainly isn't fundamentals. Market fundamentals. The market's a giant Ponzi scheme. There's no fundamentals when companies trade 100 to 400 times what they make, okay? So when you look at this, you have 20% up waves, your 10% corrections. Again, we've been over this ad nauseum. You're currently at a 23% up wave, and I still think we're getting our correction pulling down, still the S&P going to that 4,600 level, and then a new all-time high going into that March, April timeframe, then selling off into the summer. That is my sell and go to the beach signal, confluence with the global recession that is incoming, okay? Let's go ahead and look at this on the charts. What does this mean for targets? Made a new all-time high on the S&P. So let's just look at some targets, and we're going to talk a little bit about psychology as well. And psychology in the marketplace, guys, I mean, the $50 increments in the S&P is always the easiest way to look, and it's really fascinating when fibs line up this way as well. So when you look at this, we're at 50.78 at the time of this transmission. So we broke out to a new all-time high. 5,100 is the 1272. 5,150 is the 1618 if we are to continue to go up. Now, in confluence with what's happening in the markets, understand the 10-year yields up. Understand we had a 20-year auction that went disastrously. All the yields are pushing up as well. The dollar is gaining some strength as well. So the conditions in the market haven't changed. We have the largest wealth concentration going back to 1929 and the fewest amount of stocks, greater concentration than .coms. This is still your Mag 7 rally holding the market up. But these are my overhead targets. The S&P, if it can get to 5,100, let's see if it pulls back and starts to give us a pattern. Or if it gets to 5,150, let's see if it pulls back and starts to give us a pattern. What do the indicators tell us? The same thing they've been telling us. We have bearish divergence all along the way here. We have 62% of the S&P above the 20, above the 50. So more than a third of them are still below the 20, below the 50. But when you look at your bearish divergence, I told you before, the divergence doesn't matter until it matters. The market's driven by FOMO. The market's driven by herd mentality. And right now, the herd thinks the market should go up. So they're pushing the market up. Be patient. Let the market come to you. Let's look at the NASDAQ. Let me show you how I think the NASDAQ's going to play out. Right now, we're at 17,961. This is the E-mini. So a couple of different things here I want to show you. Let's take a bar ghost pattern here. I think you're going to have a head and shoulders form on the NASDAQ. So I'm just going to draw this from where we are right now. But I think what's going to happen is you're going to pull back down. This is a topping pattern, guys. Still, the NASDAQ has not taken out its high. Remember, the NASDAQ peaked in November 2021, and it took the S&P until January 4th, 2022 to make its peak. And the NASDAQ, 50% of the companies right now are below their 20. 50%. Palo Alto got creamed. A lot of the companies in the NASDAQ, the froth is coming off, but the big boys, the big market caps, remember, Nvda is 33% of the gains in the NASDAQ, one company, and that thing's on a rocket ship today, so the NASDAQ's pushing up. But this is how I think you're going to finish out this pattern here in the NASDAQ, either coming up here, slightly lower high, this type of pattern. This will be your head and shoulders type pattern, as you can see. This is how I think the NASDAQ's going to play out. Ultimately, you're going to break down and come down to that level, fill that gap, and then you're going to be coming back up, guys. You're going to be coming back up and making a new all-time high, okay? This is what the NASDAQ is. This is a 5-wave pattern when we look at this. Let me show you this wave count. 5 is a harmonic cycle, okay? This is part of natural law trading. So this is your first wave, your second, your third wave, if this peak holds, and then your fourth wave would be down here. This is commonly referred to as a head and shoulders. It's a 5-wave pattern. The market moves in 5s and 3s. 3 waves are double tops. 5 waves are your head and shoulders. They top this way, they bottom this way, they form patterns this way. We'll see if this pattern holds up, but I think this is what you're doing here in the NASDAQ. Let's delete that. Let's do some TA on that. The immediate TA you want to look at on the daily time frame is, where did you pump up to? Did you hit any type of key level of resistance? And if you look at this, you're right at the 786 right now, 17,961 on this pattern. You have big up bar today, right? 433 points as I'm talking to you, 2.5%, 2.48% right now. Could this come up, take out the all-time high? It absolutely could. Does it change anything? No, because the fundamentals, there's a word, the fundamentals of this rally are the same. Narrow breadth. You're still going to top out. It's all about time. Time is more important than price. Immediate upside targets, it can break this. If you can break 17,961 and continue to move up, you need to flip 18,121. That was your previous all-time high. We look at this from a projection like this. 18,150 should give you some good resistance. 18,365. Different ways we can pull fibs, guys. We got to see how these candles form out right now, because right now you just have a topping pattern until you break this fractal. So these are just different ways you can view the market from these retracement levels. But if this does get more bullish and the markets all break out to more upside, then look at these levels. Flip this fractal, 18,121, then you're looking at 18,3 and 18,6. Those would be your next two upside targets if you don't just start to top out. When you look at the indicators on the daily, you got a lot of bearish divergence. Again, look at the breadth in the market. It keeps going down, okay? Look at the momentum in the market, bearish, this whole leg up. This is all bearish. Same with the money flow, bearish, the whole leg up. But again, market does not care. It's FOMO and psychology. Market's pushing up right now. And as traders, be patient, anticipate, don't improvise.38 go ahead and move forward. Looking at the Dow tried to get out its all-time high. It did intraday. We'll see where it closes. 38,942 is where you're at now. The Dow, I can show you this on every single index. It doesn't matter. They all have bearish divergence. Look at the momentum in the Dow as you're sitting here pushing up as well, okay? So let's just look at some targets where this could potentially go if it wants to proceed to go any higher. We have this fib we can pull. When we look at this, 39.12 was your all-time high. You took that out intraday. We'll see where you close. Next level, 39.2. And the level after that, the 1618 is 39.6. If it continues to move up, we shall see. We shall see. This is a topping process as well. And this looks just like the this looks just like the NASDAQ, albeit you got a stronger candle here, but this looks the exact same thing as the NASDAQ's forming right now, right? So you have this type of pattern forming on the Dow, just like you have on the NASDAQ. And this is what I think you're doing is a head and shoulders pattern. Once again, another 5-wave pattern, right? So you're just doing this 5-wave pattern up. So you have your wave 1, 2, this is your third wave if this holds up here. Third wave, fourth wave, and here's your fifth wave. And then there's your sell-off coming down on the Dow, filling your gap 36.3-ish. When you look at this from a fib retracement as well, you can go ahead and pull this like this. Can't get the fib on there. There we go. Look at this as a fib retracement. 36K basically would be the target here on the Dow to come down to. So we got to see when we're putting in our tops, guys. Give it the rest. I would wait. You just wait and see what happens with the market. Lots of people buying. As you see these economic conditions, again, higher yields, stronger dollar is not good. It's not bullish for the stock market, but this is all about emotion today. We talked about Nvda on Monday's video. The options market was pricing in an 11% swing, and you got an 18% swing right now. Nvda at 776. Blowing past our 732, which held as key resistance here on the 3-week chart. You're at 776. At this level, you got to watch 800 would be a key psychological number, but this is why the market's up. The market's up because of one stock. One stock is a fundamental driver for the markets in these market cap weighted indices, okay? So this is what you want to watch and see where it tops. Until then, it's dragging everything else up in kind as well. Let's go ahead and move forward. Is the Russell confirming any type of breakout? No, the Russell's at 2014. You want to see the Russell get above 2100, right? So you could have your cup here. You need to form your little handle if this is what you want to call it and break out. I would call this a W, as you guys know, but this would be your breakout on the Russell. If it can confirm this move, you can get more upside. If everything starts breaking out, the Russell, the Dow, if the NASDAQ, the S&P, if they all start pushing up to new all-time highs, then we'll look at these higher level targets, and then everything is just further pushed out. You're still going to get a correction, and you're still going to have a move down, and then I still believe you're going to get a new all-time high. It just takes time, guys, so be patient. What does this mean for Bitcoin? Let me show you this on the 8-hour chart with the Caterpillar. This is one of our market makers indicators you get for free when you join our room for free. Message Lee in the Telegram with any questions. But look at the Caterpillar, guys. You see this volatility contraction? What happens after volatility contraction? Explosion. Okay, explosion. Given how the markets are behaving, one could deduce or one could assume that this is going to be a bullish move. And my next target, as you guys know, is 55,443. Why? Because 51,828 has been tracking beautifully for this whole accumulation pattern. And also, let me go ahead and take this off so you can see this. I want to show you the difference here of what the NASDAQ's doing versus what Bitcoin's doing. Look at Bitcoin here, and this is the 8-hour time frame. Look how neat and orderly you see this accumulation, right? This obviously at any point could also break down. I'm not saying this is a guarantee, guys, but I think this is going to break out to the upside, come to 55K. I'm not interested in trading this move, even though it would be, 7% move? Yeah, about a 7% move. I wouldn't trade it personally until it broke this fractal at 53. So it'll be a little bit less of a move, but that's my method of trading. So that's how I would be this. But look how orderly the candles stacking side by side. And when you compare this to what the NASDAQ's doing, look at this. This is why this is a topping process. Now, granted, volatility in Bitcoin is always going to be higher, right? But look at the volatility you have here in the stocks. So right now you have this topping process playing out in the markets. Part of getting new highs is part of the volatility in the markets. You get highs, you get new lows, you get ups and downs, you have divergences develop, and that's what I think is happening in the marketplace. Bounce back to Bitcoin. So we have this tight constriction. I think we're pumping up to 55,443. Let's look at this on the daily. On the daily, you can see it just candles stacking side by side by side. If this starts breaking down, guys, watch 50K. If it starts breaking down below 50, because that's going to put you back in this range. But I think you're coming up to this 55. And being that it's Bitcoin, this is just the harmonic expansion target, as you guys know, from our Fibonacci layout. Could it go past it? Sure. Could it not get there? Of course. But I anticipate Bitcoin doing this 7% move. And you could see 55 to say 56, 57K on this move. But that is my interest. If I'm going to short Bitcoin, I think it's going to be up in this quadrant because I think this move is incoming. When you, look at the candles on the daily. It's hard to see on the daily, since I pattern trade, it's hard to see this as any type of pattern other than super tight constriction looking for a move. And given that the markets are pumping, I think that move, that bias would be clearly to the upside. Let me look at the indicators real quick and let's bounce over to the alts. Daily is working off the overbought condition, momentum coming down as well. But look how bullish is still. You're still in the max bullish reading area for this, even as you're going sideways, working off the overbought condition. Let's look at Solana. We talked about this on Monday's video. I told you this could be what I love about this pattern, guys. As you know, this is a massive 3-day pattern, right? These are 3-day candles. So you have a beautiful double top. I wish I would have traded it up at 118. It came down, retraced a nice percentage. Let's look at this. I mean, that was a 16% move. Really should have took that trade. But I told you this could also be forming what? The W, right? This could be forming your W for more upside. So let's look at some projections on Solana. If Bitcoin does this 6, 7, 8% pump, where could this go? Well, assuming this is the bottom, which we don't know, 130 would be my 1618. So it would give you this type of pattern here, this massive three-day chart W pattern. I look at 130, 137. They're in this range for Solana to be moved in confluence with Bitcoin. So I want to see what happens to Bitcoin. Remember the hierarchy, right? Watching the markets. Markets are pumping. Bitcoin's constricting, ready. It's coiling, ready for a move. I think that move is up to 55.5 to 57K. And you're looking at the alts in that hierarchy chain. The alts, obviously, if Bitcoin pumps, I'm expecting these to pump. I like the Solana setup a lot. I'm going to watch this and see where we get to, see if Bitcoin does its follow through as well. Ethereum, I told you, I still don't have a pattern, guys. It's just up candles from psychological levels. I told you to watch 3,000. That's where you got to on Ethereum here on the 3-day chart. You got to 3,000. Your next two levels will be 3210, 35,570 or 3575, 3210, 3575 are your next two levels. Again, I want to see Ethereum come up to some level, pull back, start making some type of pattern, give me an entry point here on the charts. We'll finish off internationally with the DAX. We had some nice volatility in the DAX, couple hundred points to be gained, but the DAX broke out. You're at 17,423, held up right here at the 1414. That next level up, you may not get to. That's 17,821. So if I look at the DAX from this perspective, a tighter W pattern versus the larger W pattern, you almost got to the 1618 at 17,530. That's this move right here. Okay, that's this move right here on the DAX. So watch that immediate resistance. You're at 17,423, watch 17,530. And then above that, if it breaks out above that, the US markets, are going to be going higher at that point as well. All these markets move in confluence. You'd be looking at 17,821. I answer all the comments as always, everybody. Have a fantastic and safe weekend. Look for the next transmission on Sunday or Monday. Take care, everybody.